Hey guys, I'm Volen, and in today's video I first want to mention this video is edited with GoZen, with the first alpha, so there won't be many special effects going on or any effects at all because I still have not figured those things out. But anyway, in this video I want to talk about how I made my first contribution to the Godot project, which was a new feature called Print Rich, which allows you to use BB code to display things in color or in different formats inside of the Godot console for debugging. But before I go over how I implemented the feature, first I should talk about why. Before I implemented this feature, you could only print basic text. You had your print error and you had your normal print. So or it was red or it was white. But when you work on a large code base, you may want to have like some things highlighted in a different color, some things in bold. And that was not possible. There was this one pull request, which was basically trying to do that, but it never got accepted. It was made in 2019, November. And basically it never really got finished. So I was like, okay, well, as a first try to contribute to Godot, why not try this? And the main reason for implementing this whole thing was basically I wanted to have a more easier way of working. This was also around the time that I started becoming a full-time stay-at-home dad and starting my YouTube channel and such. And because of the big projects that I had in mind, I wanted to have an easier way of debugging my project without having to rely on the normal print statements. Nowadays, even the Godot demo projects sometimes use print rich. So I'm kind of happy. People actually use a feature I implemented. But let's go over how I did it. So this is the feature that I've added. Add print rich for printing with BB code. Basically what allows you to do is do this. So a normal print will be color blue, but with BB code you can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can make it underlined, different color. Adding my first feature to Godot was quite a learning experience because it's not as simple as just putting in some code, committing it, and you're done. No. So first of all, before you can commit code, you need to fork the repo to your own account. So if you press this, I won't be able to do this because I already have, fork already exists. Call it Godot, it's better to keep it in the same name. But when you go into your own fork, if you go to my personal repo, you can see I have a master branch and then I have my other branches. So if you want to commit something to the Godot engine in a pull request, never work from the master branch, they don't like that. So what you will do is create a new branch and work from there. So name the branch in the thing that you want to do. By example, I have a thing called get visible line count fix. It speaks for itself. It's easier to find as well because you should not work on multiple features or like multiple fixes in the same master branch. You can see this conversation is quite long. So yeah, they're always outdated things. So these are all outdated. This is for a reason. They don't want you to commit with multiple commits. You need to squash all your commits into one and name it appropriately. So when you go into the commits, you can actually see that it makes sense. Like add support for cold shadows and light map. They need to have a proper name. When you make all your code and you're happy, you send it, be prepared that they will never fully accept it directly. I am starting a new series in which I try to handle Godot issues and try to fix them or try to add the features that I requested. So yeah, that's a whole series coming up. One of the first things I did was fix get visible line count. A very simple thing, but of course people, this looks okay, but will also change behavior on completely empty lines. Get visible. Oh, lint count. Whoops, I made a spelling mistake here. Oopsie. Completely empty lines to me are not visible, so I did not think this will be a problem. This should not return 3 lines though. So this is probably something that is going wrong, so I need to probably fix this. But yeah, they will all, don't expect your code to be done and up and running, like accepted to the code directly. That will probably never happen. But yeah, when we go to files changed, there's 16 files changed, and let's quickly make them all minimized. There were kind of a couple of things that I needed to do. I'll go over them before I was able to actually merge a commit. First of all, formatting your code is really important because they all want you to keep the same formatting. So you should do like -d minus format on your code on the files that you've changed. There is like this whole thing here, contributing code. In here they also say like the whole testing and the, I thought they said it in here. Contributing, nope. I did think, oh yeah, so with Clang format, the code style guidelines, that's something that you should take in mind. So make certain that you follow all of these. If you only change a couple of files, you can do Clang format -I and then the path to the files. If you have an IDE that you're using like Qt Creator, Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, Vim, CLion, normally you will have some kind of formatting function. By example, for Vim Clang format, you just run it, it will automatically format everything, so you don't really have to worry about anything. And always make certain that everything still builds. That's an important one, because it does not, like sometimes it will build for Linux, by example, but not for Windows, or the other way around. So always make certain that it still builds for all platforms. But yeah, like you can see, there are quite a lot of things going on here. So if you look in the editor log, we need to add I needed to add a new method here. In the editor log.cpp, I needed to change certain areas as well. Like, that's the thing with this kind of a big project. Implementing a simple feature as like printing with BB code, it required quite a lot of changes throughout the entire editor. Like the console, the Godot console is already a print-rich text label. That is already a thing. So technically we could have already been using BB code, but they were not doing it, like making it work on purpose. So editor log, a lot of things had to change in here. The way that we add the message, because the way that the things get printed to the console is it gets put into a buffer, and after that it gets added to the line if there's an empty moment during the editor process loop to put that print statement. So it's not because you print something to the console that it directly prints. It will directly print into your terminal if you have the terminal open next to your Godot project, but it won't directly print inside of the Godot editor. Most of the time it's so fast that you don't even notice the delay, but there is a delay. And when working with GD extensions which crash quickly, your print statements don't all get printed, which is kind of an annoying problem. But yeah, that's something to take in mind when debugging stuff in Godot, when adding new features with the whole, on the C++ side of things. But yeah, a couple of things had to be added in here. But one of the more annoying parts was the whole mono stuff, because C# is still a part of Godot as well. And for that I needed to add this whole summary. Luckily, a lot of this was done with Kalinu. Like, he really teaches me a lot on how to properly like make a commit, and that's something you should not be afraid of. If you want to contribute to Godot, you will have people like him helping you out, giving you suggestions on how to make your codes better, how to improve things, and to tell you what you're still missing for your commit to be able to be accepted to the Godot codes. Adding the documentation and adding this as well for the whole C++ stuff, C#. This was probably my least favorite part of contributing to also have to support that, because I had no idea how to do this. Again, luckily I did not have to do it. Like, I did not have to do it fully. In the global scope, you also need to add to the documentation as well, which was something I also did not really think about. So if you fix something that will have a big impact on how other things work, you will need to update the documentation as well. In the variant utility, I had to add the actual code for printing it, but just adding this was not enough, because in the, I think, print string, yeah, if you print to the Godot console, like I mentioned before, it will also print to the terminal. Terminal colors don't use BB code, so I had to add all of these. Again, thank you to Kalinu, because he helped me a lot with this, because I had not really any clue on how to properly do this. I did see somebody on Reddit complain that this does not look good at all, but I agree. I wish there was an easier way to do this, but I don't I don't know how I could improve this code, because basically all the text needs to be replaced to be able to print properly inside of the console itself. But yeah, this basically prepares the string to be printed properly with a print func, and I needed to add in other thing because else the normal print error would have issues. Because again, it's just adding a feature does not always go smoothly. Other things may break, and yeah, they did. But yeah, long story short, what I had to end up doing was also like set use BB code on true when we print something in a rich text with BB code. A lot of special cases popped up, and it took me some time. Like, I don't know how long exactly, but I created this issue. I started working on this a little bit before May, but I committed to code on May. I kind of wish that it would have been a bit less problems on my part of not thinking about the documentation, C#, and all the special cases that could possibly break it, and the terminal output as well. So you really need to think about everything. I finished this in July 3rd, so that's May, June, July, so 2-3 months that I worked on this. But yeah, it finally got merged at this point. Thanks and congrats on for your first merge Godot contribution. So there are about, how many lines? 232 lines that I added to the Godot engine, and I removed 16. So there's a very, very small part of me inside of the editor. And till this day, I still use print-rich for my projects, because I just find it a lot easier to have things in different colors for different areas of my codes, which is kind of helpful. But yeah, like I mentioned, I will be starting a series in which I will try to fix as many issues, open issues in Godot as possible. I'm working on one, but as I showed you, things never really go that smoothly. But if you feel like contributing to Godot, don't be like held back by the amount of work that it will take. Like, it will take work. It's not a small engine anymore. It's not a small game engine anymore. So things take time, and things need to properly work and not break all the pieces of code. And documentation needs to stay up to date as well. So take those things in mind when contributing code or fixing things. And it should go a lot smoother than my first time contributing to Godot. But yeah, anyway, again, a big thank you to all my Ko-fi supporters. This video was made in GoZen. Thanks to all the Ko-fi supporters, I was able to finally make GoZen usable. And yeah, I hope you will enjoy my new series on fixing Godot issues. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.